Ayo, what's poppin', my fellow music lovers and listeners? Welcome back to Multi-Faceted Media Entertainment, and today I got a brand new video for you guys. Now in today's video, I'm going to be going over all the tracks that I personally heard during this week. Then I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on each and every single one of them. Then at the end, I'll choose which is my favorite track of the week. So yeah man, without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we have this new track by Busta Rhymes featuring Conway the Machine and Big Daddy Kane. Kind of an unlikely pairing here, and a bit of a generational crossover. But yeah man, the track kind of has this looped sample based production, and it really does give all three of these artists a time to showcase what they're capable of lyrically, and I think all three of them bring to the table a pretty decent lyrical performance in my opinion here, especially Big Daddy Kane towards the end of the track. I thought he had the most impressive lyrical performance, surprisingly enough. But yeah man, definitely recommend checking out this track. Loved the sample based production too, and I thought it was really well put together, so definitely recommend checking that one out. Next up, we have this new track by Juice WRLD called Stuck in My Head, and honestly I'm kind of tired of these record labels taking advantage of these rappers untimely demise and trying to milk every single last dollar out of each and every unfinished track that they have in the vault. But in this case, I kind of feel like that's not really the case, because this track does seem like it's well put together. It seems finished, it seems complete, it's well produced, and it's executed in a way that I think Juice WRLD would have been okay putting this track out if he were still around to make that decision. So I definitely appreciate that, but still, just let these artists rest in peace, man. Next up, we have this new track by Toliver and Trippie Redd, and this one is called Ain't Safe. And as far as subject matter goes, you're basically getting what you'd expect from Trippie Redd at this point, and Toliver as well. And nothing really too profound, just your typical braggadocious lyrics, and also Trippie's usual exaggerated delivery on this track as well. But production wise, this track does kind of lean more towards Toliver's style, as it seems as if Toliver is kind of suffering from the same Travis Scott feature syndrome that he suffers from, where in which the production kind of caters to the featured artist in order to accommodate them on the track, instead of the type of production that you'd expect from the artist that is at the forefront of the track. But overall, I thought the production was kind of bland in my opinion. The 808s were kind of dry, nothing too special really from that track. But next up, we have a new track from IDK. This one is called Monsieur Dior. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. But yeah man, fantastic sample on this track. IDK's really been on kind of a run lately with all the tracks that he's been putting out, and he put out an awesome mixtape or EP or whatever it was earlier this year that I enjoyed quite a bit, still revisit it to this day. And this track is not an exception to that at all. And this track has him kind of reflecting on some things that he's done in the past, some questionable decisions that he's made, all in the name of seeming like he's not as impoverished as he was back then, and also growing up without his mother and father for most of his life, considering the fact that they've both passed. But yeah man, overall pretty solid track in my opinion, continuing IDK's fantastic run, and definitely recommend checking this one out. And another unlikely pairing on this new track over here called Faithfull, which is by MACKLEMORE featuring Choppa. This track kind of features MACKLEMORE battling with a sort of depressive state, thinking about relationships he's lost in the past, and maybe he should have put more of an effort into kind of salvaging those relationships, and also battling with doing drugs to kind of take him out of the depressive state that he was battling with. But it seems as if that didn't really work. And then we have Choppa entering the back end of the track here with a kind of encouraging verse, kind of approaching the track from a polar opposite stance, offering some encouragement and relatability from his side, and reminding Macklemore of the things that he really needs to appreciate within his life. And I thought that was kind of an interesting way to take his verse here. So definitely recommend this track as well. Decent production on this track too, and did not really see this collab coming at all, and didn't anticipate it being as good as it ended up being. But next up we have oh god, this new one from Ice Spice called Bikini Bottom. I don't even know what the hell to say about this track, man. First of all, the Bikini Bottom sample in the background was absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. And hilarious at the same time, to be honest. And the subject matter of this track is basically non-existent. It's just what you'd expect from Ice Spice if you're going off her most infamous release, which is Munch. Just your typical kind of braggadocious lyrics as well. And one thing I do have to say about the track, though, it is catchy, the flow is entertaining, but I think the 808s in the beat are kind of muddy. But overall, I do think this track is kind of a mixed bag, in my opinion. Not absolutely awful or anything like that, but not anything too special. And next up, we have a new track from Morray called Letter to Myself. And now I see a lot of people comparing Morray to Rod Wave as it relates to their style of music. And I honestly do see where the comparisons are coming from, but I kind of look at it as Morray is kind of the more hopeful, optimistic side of Rod Wave, as Rod Wave kind of leans towards more of a depressing and darker style of subject matter, usually within his tracks. But funny enough, as good as the content of this track is, I do think he really does kind of suffer from the same thing that I think Rod Wave suffers from, and that's kind of underwhelming production, in my opinion. Production is kind of lackluster, and the story is the same with this track over here. Just a simple bass pattern with some looped guitar riffs that I really do think get stale pretty quickly. But other than that, the song is well intentioned and has a great concept overall, so definitely would still recommend checking this one out. Next up, we have this new track by Chloe featuring Latto, and this one is called For the Night. First of all, the chorus on this track slaps as hell. Absolutely slaps, man. Loved Chloe's vocal performance on this track as well. The way she slightly shifts the tonality of her voice during her portion of the track. And Latto comes through with a kind of short but sweet verse. And goddamn, that funk flex line is hilarious. But yeah, man. Pretty decent production from London on the track as well. So overall, pretty nice track in my opinion. Next up, we have this new track from SZA called Shirt. And first of all, what the hell is this music video, bro? This music video is... That wasn't it, bro. That was absolutely awful. But the track, on the other hand, is pretty good. Amazing vocal performance from SZA, as we usually would expect from her. But with all that being said, I do think the production is kind of a little bit bland, a little bit blander than usual. But nevertheless, I'm still really anticipating her new album. It seems like this one is going to be called No Control. I just hope we get that album sooner rather than later. So yeah, man. And last but definitely not least, in fact, quite the contrary, we have this new track by Rihanna called Lift Me Up. Now, this one was released as a part of the new Black Panther soundtrack, Wakanda Forever, that will be in theaters soon. And yeah, man, this track was absolutely beautifully sung, very heartfelt, very emotional performance from Rihanna here, kind of reminding us of just how vocally talented she actually is. And this one is actually a tribute to the late Chadwick Boseman, the star of the previous Black Panther iterations within the MCU. But yeah, man, definitely a heartfelt, emotional performance from Rihanna that I appreciated quite a bit. I just think the production left a little bit to be desired. The ukulele within the beat kind of got stale very quickly, in my opinion, especially on repeated listens. but still think the track was a pretty good one overall. Just think the production could have been a little bit more fleshed out, could have developed a little bit more throughout the entirety of the run time of the track here, but it might be an intentional stylistic choice based on how it's going to fit in thematically with the scene that it's incorporated in within the movie. But yeah, man, so those are my thoughts on all the tracks that came out this week. Personally, wasn't really in love with any of the tracks that came out during this list here, but I don't think any of them were particularly awful either. So my favorite track of the week will have to be that Chloe featuring Latto track. And yeah, man, but let me know which track I missed that came out during this week that you would have liked to see me cover in this video, and which is your personal favorite track of the week in the comment section below. But once again, this has been Multifaceted Media, and I'm signing out.